Millennial money matters. This can change your financial future. Hello again, everyone. I'm your host, Ryan Jewell. And as one friend appointed me, your chief millennial officer, recording live from my home studio on a beautiful sunny day here just outside Seattle. And today we have a guest who really needs no introduction. He was the managing partner for New York Life, a state president for NAFA, a speaker, and has been working with clients for over 35 years. And when he agreed to join the show, I couldn't be more thrilled. They call him the Jim Lusk. And if you don't know him, you're about to be in for a treat as we really unpack why millennials need to help their parents. So Jim, welcome. And why don't you begin by telling a little bit about your story and why this matter gets you so fired up?
Well, thank you, Ryan, for having me on. And I hope I can be a good resource for the millennials. You run a great show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have kids your age who need what you say. So I really appreciate and listen to your telecast, and you do a good job. When I was young, my mother-in-law became a widow at age 58. And the question is, what do we do about her Social Security? If you follow the Social Security rules, you can draw as a widow or widower as young as age 60, but you take a reduced pension to do that. As a retiree, you can draw as early as 62, as long as you're not making very much money. The threshold's about $19,000 this year. But all the literature seems to go toward everybody wait and take a bigger check by waiting longer and you get the increase. Well, I put the pencil to it, and I'm a math major. I taught high school math and physics for 6 years before I got in this business. And there was no reason it made sense for her to wait a day after age 60. So we started drawing Social Security. Today she's 89, and in the 29 years since she's been drawing her Social Security, I've never had her once say, gosh, son-in-law, how come you made me draw my Social Security early? Mm-hmm. So she gets the cost of living every year and goes on. I'd love to talk to clients about this, Ryan, because people your age, their parents are asking you questions. They know you are students of the game, number one. Yep. They know you have the ability to do research better than them, Google anything. And one of them is, when do I draw my Social Security? So that's the discussion today, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And so based on your 35 plus years of experience, what would you say then is the biggest misconception when it comes to Social Security?
Good question, Ryan. And I think it goes back to that first question is, when do I draw? The big question today is, do I draw, for instance, me, I'm 63 years old, I'll be 64 in a month. And in 2 years, I'll be at normal retirement age. That's 66 for people as a baby boomer. People born after 64, it becomes age 67, and it will basically be a longer transition. But the literature shows, and Social Security does talks on, why don't you take 8% more per year and retire at age 70 with your Social Security?
Right.
So 8% times 4 is 32% more money. And people hear this, and the misconception, Ryan, is that it's an 8% rate of return. It's not 8% rate of return. Right. It's not even 8% compounding interest. It's simple. 8% times 4 is 32% more money. The key is the math. And the first math is, what is the break-even point? And you need to calculate the break-even and then ask yourself, is that realistic or not for me to live that long? And then we'll get into some other factors. But the answer to your question is, a misconception is people don't even look at the math and they say, I'm going to wait and draw my Social Security at age 70. Steve Orman says so, and Dave Ramsey says so, and Social Security says so.
Yeah, definitely. And the next question today for you, really for our guests, is what is the biggest mistake that you often see with clients all across the country when it comes to Social Security?
I think the biggest mistake is not researching and I call it the sheep planning. They just a bunch of sheep that just does what everybody else does. Or the other one is I'm in the office and it's the office cooler. Somebody's standing around the cooler talking about, I'm going to draw my Social Security. Well, I guess I will too. Mm-hmm. They do the same thing with their 401k plan options. It drives me crazy. The good news about your millennials is when somebody says something, they always say, well, wait a minute. I don't know if that's true or not. I have a daughter who's a millennial, and she Googles everything. And you better be accurate or she will find out.
Yep.
And she's a master of finding out.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me how a lot of people now also confuse research with net search as well. So it's just another important reason to reach out to someone like yourself on these matters. And so what would you offer our viewers today as the best strategy for drawing Social Security as part of an overall financial plan?
Very good question, Ryan. And it boils down to the money. Money matters. Millennial money matters, but millennials' parents' money matters too, because it may end up being your money later, either through inheritance or gifts.
Sure.
And so the smart millennials will help their parents.
Got it.
The really not so smart ones will be mean to them and be disinherited, or they will not help them the way they should. So a smart millennial, learn Social Security, learn about their pension investments, and help them make the right decision for the rest of their life. Okay, so what does that amount to? I do a lot of lectures across the country on drawing your Social Security early. And it has to do with, first of all, you calculate the break even. Let's take an example. Let's say the Social Security at my normal retirement age is $2,000 a month. And if I wait for 4 years to age from 66 to age 70, it'd be $2,640. So $2,640. That's another $640 a month. And you say, well, gosh, that's a lot of money. I think I'll wait. Well, wait a minute. If I have $2,000 a month and I take that times 12, that's $24,000 a year. And in the 4 years I waited, that's $96,000.
Yeah.
That I didn't get because I waited.
Yep.
So you take $640 into the $96,000 and you'll get 144 months. Divide that by 12. Okay. And it's 12.5 years. Or 12 years. So you take the 12 years and add that to 70, that puts me at age 82. Now, the math is a little different for depending on whether you're looking at 66 to 70, 62 to 70, but let's just say over age 80. Now, people say, well, I'm from a line of long livers. I hear it all the time, which means in my generation, obviously you're going to live a long time.
Mm-hmm,
but that's life expectancy. You take 82 and a half, you say, am I going to live beyond that or going to die short? So I always use a scenario. First scenario is, what if you're wrong? And it's your 70th birthday. You have all the family over and they have this big cake with 70 candles on it. And you're getting all warmed up, and so you take some deep breaths, and you're going to blow out all 70 candles, right?
It's a lot of candles.
A lot of candles. So I'm getting ready, and I blow them out, have a heart attack right there. Okay, probably not going to happen. Mm-hmm. However, if that does, or if I die shortly after 70, I've lost $96,000. I'm going to get $640 more a month to catch it up, and out to age 82, it'll finally catch up. Is that worth it? To me, I say no. I may get hit by a truck at age 69. I might get 72. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have a heart attack, cancer, whatever. I'm going to take the money. Now, people would argue, well, wait a minute. You wait and you get bigger cost of living increases and you get this. Okay. Then I factor in what's called the time value of money. And as a millennial money matter genius that you are, Ryan, people on your show need to understand the time value of money.
Absolutely.
And I don't care if they Google it and research it, Wikipedia it. There's people on this talk that maybe are even financial planners or even finance majors in college. But I love the question when somebody gives you something serious about finances. And you just look them in the eye and say, have you factored in the time value of money? And they stare at you. Either A, I don't know what that means, or B, no, I haven't. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we factor in the time value of money, I always ask clients, would you rather have $800 today or $1,000 in 10 years with 3% inflation? Which would you rather have?
Yeah.
Well, if you take $800 today and use 3% inflation over 10 years, it will be worth more than $1,000. Or another way to say this, $1,000 10 years ago from now, discounted back, is worth less than $800 using the time value of money. So if I factor that same time value of money into my calculation, it's beyond age 82 now. Now it's maybe age 85 or 86. Okay. So people still say, yeah, but my mom's 94 and my dad's 91, and I know I'm going to outlive age 90. Okay, great. How about this one? Let's take the money that you don't need, because obviously you're going to wait, so you don't need it, right? Mm-hmm. And from 66 to 70, that $96,000, I'm going to invest it in, let's say, a variable annuity. I want something that's going to grow tax sheltered. So it's going to grow, and I ran a calculation at 6%. That got up to like $105,000. One of the hottest products for millennials' parents is an immediate annuity. So we're going to do what we call annuitize this investment.
Got it.
So I got the $105,000, and I'm going to annuitize it as a 70-year-old. The annuity payment guaranteed for life will be bigger than the $640 reduction. Now let me repeat this. I think it's very important.
Yeah, go ahead and repeat that.
You took $2,000 a month that you didn't need. We invested it in this annuity, and then we annuitized it, and we would actually have more income than if we waited. Plus, we'd have the decreasing balance of that annuity paying out. So if I died prematurely, my estate would get some of that annuity money. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
I look at that and say, well, you got to be kidding me, you know?
Yeah. Great point.
But let me address the non-financial. This is financial, money matters and financial impact for millennials. To me, it's about quality of life. I got this from a guy in Wisconsin who was brilliant at Social Security. He'd ask, what's the time frame is the most important quality of life? From 66 to 76, that 10-year period, or from 70 to 80, that 10-year period. And Ryan, what would you say the answer would be for the most important quality of life?
Well, it'd have to be the earlier years.
The earlier years. So if my earlier years are more important quality of life for things like seeing my grandkids,
right,
traveling,
taking them on trips,
taking them on trips, doing things while I'm still healthy,
yeah.
Why wouldn't I take more income during that 4-year time that I was going to delay?
Yep.
So there are financial decisions that come out to be, I could show you mathematically how it's going to be really hard to break even with the time value of money. And if you don't need it, you invest it. So my theory on Social Security, and I'd love to talk to anybody on the show, you can give my contact information. My website is just www.retirementnationwide.com.
Yep, they'll be checking that out.
And I would love you to check it out, check me out. But my proposal for many clients over 35 years, and I've never regretted it, is to draw your Social Security as soon as you can. And the only exception is you can draw at 62, but there's an earnings limitation. So if you're really retired and you're done, maybe drawing a pension, you got contracts, the only thing that counts against that is earned income. then draw at 62. However, if you're still working, you can go to age 66 for me, normal retirement age. For you, it's 67, and they may move that as they make changes. The point is, I can make $1 million a year and still draw Social Security.
Sure.
So 2 years from now, I will be drawing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when I first heard you speak main stage on this matter, you had mentioned a 3-prong attack to this concept of planning. So as we wrap this up for today, what do we as responsible, smart, educated listeners really need to do? And you alluded to it by checking out your website, but what's really the call to action today?
Yes, I think the call to action is, first of all, when Stephen Covey wrote his famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that's a must read for everybody in your audience. And even though it's a baby boomer book, it's endless, timeless treasure for you guys too. But one of his 7 habits is begin with the end in mind. And the end in mind for millennials, to me, is still retirement. You guys aren't going to work forever. You think you are going to retire at age 45. You're going to be filthy rich and be a multimillionaire.
Right.
I thought that too. I had just planned I was going to be a millionaire at age, and I finally got there.
Yep.
But the point is, I'm in my 60s. It wasn't 45. But have a date. Pick a date and work backward. Begin with the end in mind. But the other end in mind is your parents are not playing the retirement game right. And you ask them, when are you going to retire? And they're 60 years old, and they'll tell you, I don't know. And you ask them questions like, when are you going to draw your Social Security? I don't know. You need to help them, or channel them to somebody like Ryan or myself who can help them figure out the end in mind. I'm going to draw in 2 years and 3 months because I know the game.
Yep.
And then you work backward.
Absolutely. Well, I know
the only thing I would say about millennials too, and this is off the track with Social Security, but you said advice.
Yes, go ahead.
Is most financial planners today are diversifying portfolios according to risk, but they're not tax diversifying enough. And you asked me the 3 pockets. I think it's so important that you look at things like Roth IRAs, permanent life insurance, after-tax growth tools that can come out tax-free later.
Sure.
So if we're in a low tax bracket, don't be so, I'm going to say, urgent to put 15% in your 401k plan because you're going to lower your tax bracket.
Yep.
I ask young people all the time, Ryan, do you want to pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? Now, this is another discussion and a whole nother show, and I'd love to come back on and talk about that. You base it on what kind of response you get from your listeners.
Yep.
But today was about Social Security. So first understand it. Even as a millennial, go to ssa.gov.
Okay.
ssa.gov and look at your own Social Security projection. First of all, make sure they have it on your computer. That'd be nice. If they don't, you have some work to do. Yeah. If they have it in there, it'll tell you what your numbers are going to be, and they'll be pretty cool numbers. And then factor that in. When millennials tell me I'm not counting on Social Security, it's not going to be there, I totally disagree. It will be there. It'll be changed, modified. And until they get rid of it, count it. Count it in the game. Got it.
Well, on behalf of all the viewers, thank you, Jim, for joining us in this such an important journey. And as always, let's protect, save, invest, enjoy, give, and leave a legacy. For those of you who have missed last episodes, you can catch up on my LinkedIn channel or on YouTube. Follow articles as well as we progress towards the release of our first book. We'll see you next time on Millennial Money Matters.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, and have a great day. You guys are the future of our country. Do a great job with your money.
Thanks, Jim. We'll see you soon.
Bye now.